Well, hello everyone. Hello everyone. Happy 2022. Yes, I'm about a month late, but I am here. And I hope that everyone has had a great entrance into the new year and you are excited to be here with us. Thank you all for joining me on tonight. I am your host, Gwen Finley. This is Miss G's Ladies Lounge, if you have not already figured that out. I'm so excited to be here on tonight. Listen, I've got such an amazing group of women here on tonight that is ready. They've got their ammunition. They are just excited and ready to come and chat tonight. We're going to be talking about expanding the vision. Tonight is a special show. We have the Visionaries Roundtable. The Visionaries Roundtable. Listen, if you've never seen anything like this before, I promise you, you're going to enjoy this very show. So don't go anywhere. Come right back and meet us here so that you can get the best of what we have to offer. All right. Well, I am back and I'm excited once again. Thank you so much for joining us. I just have to kind of get myself calmed down, like I'm up here. I'm way up here and I got to come down here. So we're going to get this party started. I've got six amazing visionaries who are going to join me here in Miss G's Ladies Lounge. They are on their way in the room just to come and share with you on tonight. I want you to just make sure that you like, tag, and share, and let everyone know that we are live and we're ready to get started. As I start on tonight, what I'm going to do is I'm going to give a brief bio of each person as I bring them in. So if you would just indulge me as I go through their bios. We don't want to take up too much of your time tonight, but I promise you, you don't want to go anywhere. But before I introduce everyone else, let me introduce myself once again before the head coach gets me for not doing it correctly. My name is Ms. MsG Finley. I am the founder and host of Ms. G's Ladies Lounge. As a visionary startup coach, I assist women and men to move their visions from their beds and their heads into the room. I work with great entrepreneurs and ministry leaders to bring into manifestation their dreams and their desires. In addition, I provide consultation and support to visionaries, entrepreneurs, and ministry leaders in accessing resources and programs that are available to enhance their vision. As a virtual assistant, I provide hands-on support with social media, marketing, and other behind-the-scene online services. Sound important, right? All right, let's go. We're ready now to get these ladies in the room. I'm going to start with this wonderful lady. This is Mary Orth Moss. Mary Orth Moss, and I'm going to be introducing her to you. Mary is a Christian. I'm sorry, she's okay. I was reading your whole bio, and then I realized I was muted.
Oh no. Oh no. Well, that was a beautiful reel. Thank you
Well,
so much for that.
hopefully you'll get it through the pictures, and we're going to be going through so many things, and you'll be able to tell a little bit more about yourself as
Sure,
we
of
go forth.
course.
Next, we have Dr. Omega. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Next, we have Dr. Omega. Dr. Omega. There she
Hello,
is, the
hello.
amazing Dr. Omega.
Hey,
Hey, welcome,
hey.
welcome, welcome, welcome.
Thank you.
All right, I just want to get everybody in the room. I want to get everybody in the room so we can get this started. All right, next we've got Julia.
Telling me to dance, taking a chance. Telling me to dance, taking a chance. Telling me to dance, taking a chance.
Hey, Miss Julia, how are
Hi,
you? How are you?
doing well, doing well.
Awesome. We're so excited to have you here with us. We're going to bring in two more ladies right now. And our last lady is working her way into the studio. So we're going to just keep it moving. Right now, I'm going to bring in Tanya Lacey Peterson. And her video is a little bit short, but let me just tell you, that has no indication on how powerful she is. All right, you got it. All right, coming up next. Hello, Miss Tanya. Coming up next, we have the Charvette Mitchell.
So when should I rebrand? Matter of fact, I met an entrepreneur this week, and she handed me her card. We were exchanging cards. And she said, "I'm in the middle of a rebrand."
Woohoo! Welcome,
Hello.
Charvette.
Thank you for
Hello.
having me. I'm excited to be here.
Awesome. We're so excited to have you. And our last lady has joined the party. So we are going to bring in Miss Angelia Stone. Well, 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 would you look at this? This is so amazing. I'm so excited. Okay, I'm just going to calm down because I feel like I'm back and forth, and I feel like I'm just going to be talking too much. And so somebody said earlier, if I talk too much, listen, you're going to have to do that with me because I promise you it's going to get out of hand real soon. But we're going to get started. And what I'm going to do is we're going to go around the room and I'm going to let each lady give us or each visionary. I don't even want to call you ladies because you're just so powerful today. I want to call you visionaries. I want you to go around the room and I want you to just let everyone know who you are and what you do. I'm going to start with the Mary Moss.
Thank you so much. I'm so humbled and excited to be here with this great panel. Well, I'm the founder and CEO of Divinely Designed LLC. And I create unique opportunities for writers to tell their stories, have their voices heard, and earn money. And I empower Christian women to share their transformational stories to heal the world. Because our stories are not for us, they're for the world. And the world needs our stories. I'm an Amazon #1 bestseller with 2 solo books and a contributor to several anthologies. And I'm fondly known as the word wizard. And in that capacity, I help you tell a better story, whether it's the story of your business or the story of your life, using my divinely designed coaching method.
Wow, that is awesome. That's awesome. Let me just ask you one quick question. How long have you been, as a writer and working with words?
I have been a writer since I was 4 years old.
Wow.
To be perfectly honest, I call it a genetic predisposition. I've informally been working with writers probably 15 or so years, but officially as a coach in the last 4 or 5 years.
Awesome, awesome. All right, so next we have Dr. Omega Wilson.
Hey, everybody. Just a little bit about myself. I'm Omega Wilson, as she just stated, founder and CEO of Innovative Strategies Consulting. And we're multifaceted. We do a number of things, but mainly we work with educators to help them take their careers to the next level. So if you know an educator who wants to become administrator, we're your people. I'm your girl. If you know an administrator who wants to go into senior leadership, I'm your girl. So we've helped educators go to the next level, but I also work with school divisions throughout the country to help take school divisions to the next level. You know how schools have low morale, or they very well may have poor attendance or low test scores. We assess that school, put some different plans and processes in place, and help them go to the next level. I do a lot of one-to-one coaching with educators to help them as well, like I said, get to the next level. On the other side, we do a lot of leadership development coaching. I'm on the John Maxwell team, as many of you all know, certified coach, speaker, trainer. But we partner with a lot of churches, organizations, businesses, schools, of course, to help with the leadership teams so that we hone in on leadership teams and really make sure they enhance their leadership skills and help them go to the next level as well. So we call ourselves life changers. We're really passionate about what we do. We absolutely love it. 30 years. No, I'm going into 31 years now. 31 years in education. I just realized that. I've been saying 30 years. Yeah, I got a little proven track record of success, but that's what we do. 3-time published author. And I love what I do. I love helping people. I love serving.
Awesome.
Thank you, Gwen. And thank you for having me here today.
Thank you for accepting.
Of course.
Thank you for accepting. Ms. Julia Royston.
Well, hello to everyone. Thank you so much, Ms. Gwen Finley, for having me. I'm Dr. Julia Royston. I own BK Royston Publishing, Royal Media and Publishing, and the coaching community, the Book Business Bosses, where we help you get your message to the masses, turn your words into wealth, and become a book business boss. And so I take you from, I have in the past always said, I take you from idea to Amazon, but now we're going from not only Amazon, but beyond. So I'm super excited. BK Royston Publishing celebrates in February 14 years of existence. Royal Media will celebrate 7 years in October. And then the coaching community is 3 years old. So I'm super excited to be here. I've written 66 books myself and published more than 350. So publishing and writing coaching is what I do. But as all of you know, taking your books to business is always the next level. So I wrote one book in 2007, published it in 2008, and had my first client after I said no several times in 2009. So I have 250 authors signed to my companies. And so that's what we do. Super excited to be here. And this is a phenomenal panel. I'm pinching myself right now, just thinking, I'm here. Oh my gosh.
Right.
But thank you so much. And I look forward to the conversation.
Amen. All right, awesome. And so there's so much that all of you have already not said about yourselves, and I know we could just go with so many other things, but what you're doing is so phenomenal. We have in the studio with us Angelia Stone. Make sure you take yourself off mute and join us. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
I had to put you on mute while my little fur friends are they every time I get on the Zoom they want to bark and growl and play with toys and
That's
everything.
all right.
Well, my name is Angelia Stone. Most people that know me, like Miss Gwen, probably knows me as Angie. And I am the CEO and the founder of Hope Magazine, a magazine that I created 17 years ago from my bedroom. It was only supposed to go to 50 to 100 women. And 17 years later, we are over 200,000, reach over 200,000 people.
Awesome.
And have a organic social media following of 50,000 women that we love to enrich, enlighten, and to go on this journey where we say we evolve together. I am a publisher. I haven't wrote as many books as Miss Mary or Dr. Omega and Sister Joya. I published or have my first book that was released in 2020, right in the smack dead of March 2020 when everything happened with the pandemic. It's called Yes Sisters, and was really blessed to be able to work with the publishing company, Revell Baker Books. And you can find, the book was distributed through Target, Barnes and Nobles, and all those good fun places and everything. And it's even on Audible. That's always so fun too. Yeah.
Awesome. And you forgot to say you can also find the devotional on the
Oh yeah,
Bible
yeah,
YouVersion
yeah,
app.
yes.
Mhm.
It
Yeah.
is.
Yeah, I enjoyed that. That was sweet. All right. Well, thank you so much for being here. And
Thank you
now
so
we
much.
have Miss Charvette Mitchell, the Charvette Mitchell.
Thank you so much again. And it's quite an honor to be here with this whole host of amazing visionaries and leaders. And I'm Charvette Mitchell, marketing strategist and marketing coach. And I work with high achieving women entrepreneurs to help them position their expertise with a polished visual brand. We also work with them on increasing their visibility with speaking opportunities and building their authority by publishing their either transformational story or intellectual property. And then lastly, working on content marketing to convert more customers. And so we're really excited to do that through our Platform Builder program and our one-on-one consulting. I'm also the host of the Charvette Mitchell Radio Show, which is now 14 years old, every Tuesday at 6 p.m., which also can be caught in podcast version and live streaming. And then lastly, the visionary author for 3 book collaborations, Pursue, Pour, and Propel, and those are all available on Amazon. Thank you.
Awesome. Awesome. And don't forget the host of one of the greatest conferences, annual conferences. Just wonderful, wonderful. We're so excited to have you. Miss Tanya Lacey Peterson. Won't you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Absolutely. Well, thank you, Miss G, for having me on. I am also honored to be on this amazing panel. I am a future executive senior sales director with Mary Kay. I've been rebuilding my business now for about 3 years. Totally different experience this time. Grateful for it. I am also the proud sales director of the Life Changers Unit, Dr. Wilson. Yes, originating in Chesterfield, Virginia. I have a unit of over 100 phenomenal consultants that I'm just really, my goal is to help change lives, to help empower others, specifically women, or more so women. Of course, we have men in Mary Kay as well. But I just love just helping to invoke change, helping to help women get out of their comfort zone, to believe bigger in the dreams that God has given them. I have been very fortunate to earn 3 free cars in less than 2 years. Yes, I'm driving that amazing pink trophy, the pink Cadillac. And yes, my unit was number 3 most improved in the state of Virginia. Last year, we were a young unit, but a great unit. We reached the $500,000 circle, which is really big in Mary Kay as a young unit. And, just love what I do. I never saw myself doing this. My skincare regimen before Mary Kay was water and a washcloth. Okay. My makeup routine was eyeliner and lipstick.
Right.
So, but, God was very strategic when he brought this business to me. And I realized it was more than just skincare and makeup. It truly is about empowering and just helping to change women. This company really builds you up mentally, emotionally, financially, and spiritually. We are a faith-based company, and I'm just super proud to be one of the leaders in this company. I am married to an amazing man. He's a senior pastor in Richmond, Virginia, Derek Peterson Sr. We have 4 beautiful young adult children and 1 grandson, little Malachi, who is almost 2 years old. So I'm loving life and loving where God has me right now.
Awesome. So I just want to start this conversation talking about startup and beginnings. As you know, I deemed myself the visionary startup coach. So I love hearing how people start because a lot of times people have a vision and they think it's too small to do anything, with it. And they need to know that whatever has gotten to be expanded and great had to start somewhere. And so I would love for us to start there and then just go into speaking about how to expand or how you expanded your vision. And I want to start by saying 2 of the ladies specifically on this panel, I've known you since you started or before you started. And that first would be Angelia Stone, which I've known her since she was a lot younger than me. And not thinking about a magazine or anything. I think she was probably still in, what were you, in middle school or something like that? High school. And I was so amazed because she lives in such a tiny town at the time, and it was like really backwards. I'm sorry, I love your town, but at that time it was very backwards. And when I heard that she was going to do a magazine, it was like, and so you just never know. But I want her to tell us more about that, and also Tanya. And I don't know if she even remembers, but when I first started my women's ministry, 4G Ministries, she came and she did a beauty day for us. And I think you just had a few ladies that you was working with at the time, and to watch, to see where you are today and that you pursued that. So I'm going to let whichever one of you ladies want to jump in and talk about, and it doesn't have to be just those 2, but whichever one, I want you ladies to be free to just have a conversation and chat on tonight. Who wants to talk about how you got started and where your vision started?
Okay, I'll go. It's funny because Mary Kay was never, like I said, part of my vision. God is very strategic when he brings purpose into your life. When I first came to Mary Kay, I had just left my job in corporate America because I was helping my church. We started a daycare and I was volunteering. So a young lady offered me a complimentary makeover, complimentary volunteer. Yeah, we can do this. this. And so I really felt like in order to just kind of help my husband at the time, even though I didn't want it to have anything to do with selling anything, I felt like I have to do something. And it was 50% profit. So I said yes, pretty much out of need, almost like, God, you put me in a corner. I don't know anything about what I'm doing. But I will say, you know, I'm so grateful that God kind of had me in that corner at that time, because otherwise I would have turned my nose up and said, oh no, I don't need that.
Right.
I don't, you know.
Right.
But I would have to say I really didn't have a vision initially for Mary Kay, but when God literally transformed my life through this opportunity, that's when I saw the opportunity to help someone else. And now my purpose, my goal is to truly help change someone else's life. To help them to get out of the box. My future national, Karen Riddle, you know, she believed in me before I believed in myself. She saw the vision, how it come to fruition before I did. And she breathed that belief in me. And so now it is my goal to breathe belief into other women, into others, to say, girl, you can do this. You can do all things through Christ. You know, you got this. And so, yeah, now the vision is totally different. Now the vision, I'm like, God, you're calling me to the front. Are you serious?
Wow.
But Mary Kay has opened my eyes to that. And this is so much bigger than anything I could have ever imagined. And so I'm going to use this platform to literally help change lives. So.
And you had to have a vision to see that, because I tried starting Mary Kay and all I really wanted was the bag and all the stuff in it. And I think I sold maybe 2 things, and I gave everything, all those mirrors and all that stuff. I gave it all away. It was retreat gifts.
Oh, yeah, Gwen, I fell in love. I fell in love with the company. You know, the second time I came back, I didn't share this with you, but I was out for about 6 years.
Wow.
And when I came back the second time, it was because life changed for me. I had gone through a depression period. I'd never experienced it before, because we were now empty nesters. And so what do you do with life? Your kids are grown. And I simply came back to Mary Kay to find something to do. And, you know, 6 months after working the business, God literally just shifted things. I earned my first free car. I became a sales director. I was happy again. I found new purpose. So now my purpose wasn't to raise my babies anymore. Now my purpose was to help raise up powerful women. So yeah, if you stay in long enough, I think you get a peek at that.
So let's ask Charvette. Charvette, tell us, about your start.
I'd be happy to. I don't know if Angelique wanted to jump in. I don't want to steal her spot.
Oh no, I said anybody could go, but
okay. So, what's interesting? My story starts at a girlfriend's kitchen table. Her name is Edwardette Moses, and she had a business at the time that she was starting on the side, and we were working on her marketing and doing brochures and things of that nature. And then I stopped and said, well, wait a minute, before we go print all this stuff off, you need a website. So it was like, well, I don't have a website. So I said, well, I'll go figure something out. And literally I put together this rinky-dink website that I would be shamefaced to show anybody today. And that was to help her business start. And then people started asking, well, can you do a site for me? Can you do a site for me? And so what I figured out was that I had a solution to a problem, and people pay for solutions to problems. And that's really how it all started for me.
Wow.
Yeah. I'll hop in if it's okay, MsG, because my story is really, really different. And it's crazy because I say this to encourage and inspire someone. Seriously, a lot of people think that I was born Dr. Wilson, and I was not. I was not. Gwen, are you laughing?
Right.
I was not born Dr. Wilson. And I always tell my clients, mentees, anybody who's working with me, look, if I can figure this thing out, anybody can, because this was not on my bucket list. All right. This was not on my bucket list. I come from, my mom is a retired educator. My dad is a retired professor and a pastor. So it's kind of in my blood, but I kind of wanted to rebuke that thing when I was in college. I didn't want to teach. So I wanted to be an anchor woman. Don't ask me why. Don't ask me if I took any journalism courses. No, I did not. I don't know. I just thought CNN was going to call me when I graduated. They're going to be like, "That's her. Let's go get her." I don't know. But at any rate, I didn't plan on going to education. I wanted to be an anchor woman. I still today, I'm going to speak this thing into existence. Brian Wilson. We're going to be Wilson and Wilson Associates. I want to be a mortician. Brian Wilson, if you're in Richmond, Virginia, Brian knows that. He knows that I want to be his partner so bad. I'm itching for it. It's going to happen. But I want to be a mortician. So long story behind that, but just my dad's a pastor, so you can figure the rest of it out. But at any rate, I woke up one day, 2014. You know how people say, the Lord put this on my heart. The Lord really put it on my heart in the middle of the night. And he was like, "You're going to start a business." And I'm like, wait a minute. And one thing led to the other. Started having conversations with my teacher friends and principal friends. And I'm like, y'all, we're doing the work. We need to have our own business and we can get paid from this thing. I mean, we can help many people throughout the world, and my prayer was answered last year. We started in 2014, but my prayer was answered last year when we went international with the business. And it just gives me joy to say that, to be able to touch so many people. But you don't have to, I say all of that to say, in sum, you don't have to have it all figured out. A lot of people think you got to go to college and you got to have your degrees all laid out. You got to have a mentor with your mat. You got to have all this stuff. Just like Dr. Martin Luther King said, take the first step. You don't have to see the whole staircase. Just take the first step and have faith with it. But you got to lock arms with a mentor. I will say that you need a mentor or coach, somebody who has a proven track record. So mine is a little different. But I think the most important thing I can say is locking arms with people who have a proven track record has gotten me to where I am today.
Awesome. And Julia?
I'll start because it kind of ties into all the other ladies and as Gwen had already shared, I live in a really small community and it is very, very, very backwards. And this is slow here. And often people can't believe that, I'm still here, and that when I had this, and that's why I said it was a God-sized, a huge dream and vision, because, if you spent a day or a few days here where I live, this is like people they don't think and do things like that. But I had this ordinary life, as I often said, and I was working at the university, going to a small church, small mindset, and just okay with the regular day-to-day. But I had always had a passion I didn't know what that was, Charvette. I had that whole marketing thing that was inside me. I was always, when everybody was running around doing business cards, I was doing tied envelopes, the whole, asking different people from churches if I could do their church newsletters and stuff. That was really huge for a while there. And that's what I had. I had started off with this desktop publishing business. But what I realized is that, I was depressed. I didn't know I was stuck. I was in a small mindset and a small bubble. And I had always known that that God had something greater and big for me. But I had no clue how to get there because, again, a lot of the people that I was surrounded by they didn't have those same ambitions or ideals about starting a business. Nothing educated, was just, we're going to heaven and that's it, no dreams, no vision, that's it. As long as you're faithful to the church and, and we're going to see Jesus one day, and so I said, well, I was working on the campus and I knew I was stuck. I had, married too soon and was in a relationship where I was unhappy and I was depressed and I just didn't know how to get out. I just literally was just stuck. And so I said, well, let me do a newsletter. That's all it was, just a newsletter, like I said, to go to 50 to 100 women. Because, again, I was shamed and I didn't want people to know that those are the things that I was dealing with behind the scenes. And so I said, well, maybe if I do a newsletter, then I can share my story and tell my story through other women. They can share it for me, but I can still stay in the background. But, as I continued to progress, I said, I'm just only going to send this out to 100 women. So then that was in 2005 when I had launched the magazine. My grandmother had died that January. My dad died in that May.
Oh,
And
wow.
I realized life was so short. Went to a service, and then the minister preached on Esther. And then that was during the time when Rick Warren put his book out, The Purpose Driven Life. And, everybody was running around trying to figure out, what am I here for? What am I designed for? What's my purpose? And then in addition to reading the Purpose Driven Life book, which was always interesting, is because at the church that I attended, we was never really encouraged to read extra books. The Bible is all you needed. And so I started reading, started becoming knowledgeable, reading, I read that book. And then my girlfriend of mine told me to read The Dream Giver. I had no clue about having a dream. So that was just really me. And so I stepped out that summer, June of that 2005, and said, I'm getting ready to do this. And I was all scared and nervous. Like, I don't know how to do no magazine. As the sister was talking about, I was like, I ain't got no degree. I don't know what to do. Didn't know nothing about no website, no marketing and PR, none of that stuff, no journalism and anything. But I had faith in myself, and I was starting to believe in myself, but I really didn't realize what I was really starting to work on the process of my healing and to believe of what I was really capable of doing. A year later, I had CC Winans says my first yes. That was my first yes sister that told me yes to my first cover of the magazine.
Wow.
Before you know it, I had 7,500 people. I'm like, well, what am I supposed to do? I don't know. I'm like, how do I make this thing move? How do I make this thing grow? So I had to learn how to become the CEO, the publisher, the marketing, the PR, had to learn how to do it all because I had put everything was backwards. Next thing you know, not only did I have CC Winans, next thing you know, here I am with my Midwestern self flying to Dallas, didn't fly nowhere. I'm in Dallas going through a double gated community, and I'm at the house doing a big photo shoot with Kirk Franklin's wife, Tam.
Wow.
And here again, had no clue what I was doing. I become this creative director. So I begin to just started to flow because, as someone said earlier, it was never about me. It's never been about me, but it's always been about how I can empower other women. And through my life and through my story, my testimony, they can see what clearly is definitely the hand of God in my life and just in the business, is because there's no way in the world I would be able to say that I interviewed Angela Bassett, Octavia Spencer, Tasha Smith, Erica Campbell, and all those are some of the women that I've had the opportunity to feature on the cover of the magazine. And we're steady, continue to grow. I'm doing events and doing luncheons when I didn't know how to make money. I was okay with just settling because this again was a certain mindset that, that we associated lack with having strength in God. And, the little you have, the more anointed you are. No, that's not God. He wants us to have something, going from just accepting $150 ads and $500 ads to being able to get to the place to start accepting $50,000 contracts and $100,000 contracts, working with your Comcast and all those, and did that from, as Gwen said, this small town of Muncie, Indiana. But like my sister said, you got to be able to get with the right people.
That's right.
That help you to help shape your mindset. A lot of things I had no clue, and it was always so great being able to talk to Gwen because she's a city lady, and she got it. And I was just like, wow, I love she got what nobody else could get early in this journey. So yeah.
Awesome. We got some people tapping in. Thank you so much for that. That was an awesome testimony. I think you kind of took us through to expansion, but we're going to come back around to that as well. And we're going to get the other ladies also. We've got over here, Erica McFadden tapping in with Tanya. Encouraged me to step out of my box and to believe that I could do it. Tanya, I wanted to ask you, how many women do you have on, like under you on your team?
Wow. So that's, what do they say? It's complicated. So I have actually 3 offspring sales directors. And so, it's beautiful in Mary Kay. You build up leaders, and then those leaders take their consultants and they go off and build their units. And so, oh my goodness, over time, I've probably had at least 250 maybe consultants throughout the sales directors. Now I have a little over 100 because I just had another offspring in September. So we're building again. So it's a constant build the leaders, and they go off. Someone told me it's like birthing. It's giving birth. And it's kind of a sad thing at first because it's like, wait,
You want to keep them all, right?
you do, but it's also a great thing because I'm doing what God has called me to do. So yeah.
Awesome. Thank you so much. I'm going to ask Dr. Julia if she would tell us how you got into this game of publishing and writing. And
Yeah. Well, most people who know me most of my life know that entrepreneurship is in my blood. So my dad was an educator, and he said, education was king, but my voice doesn't sound like it right now because I've had allergies, but I was a singer. I wanted to sing. I wanted to stand on the stage and say, I want to thank the Academy, and I want to thank the Stellar Award Academy. That was my goal. That was my dream. My dad's like, no, you need a job, girl. Are you crazy? But when I was 9 years old, they started a cleaning service. So my dad taught in the day. My mother managed the cleaning service. And so we had, Scott Bright of Louisville, how can I help you? That's what I said at 9 years old. And so from there, they built a business of about 50 employees. And I often tell, Charvette knows, I've said it on her show, I have control issues, and I get that directly from my father. But the problem with control issues is that when he died, everything died. The business died. The school he created died. Now, we had the work ethic. We had the business skill, all of that, but it all died. So my grandfather, he used to say, root little pig or dies. So therefore, I had to determine it and discover it as I went. Administratively, in my church organization, all of that. I had all of that. But what was going to be my legacy? What was going to be my business? And so in 1994, I was previously married, and I was getting a master's degree and a divorce at the same time.
Oh.
And then, so I started journaling after that. I had my master's degree in my hand, and, I had my divorce decree in the other hand. And I fast forward, I started journaling over that time. Fast forward to 2006, got remarried happily to a wonderful guy. And then 2007, God said, get those notebooks out, and it's time to put that first book together. And it was a book of poetry, and I've only written one. I haven't written any more poetry.
Wow.
But and then 2008, I'm like the Tyler Perry. I want my own table. So I didn't look for a traditional deal. I didn't do none of that. I said, it's all, I started my company for me and my books alone. I had written about 3 then. And then in 2009, somebody came to me and said, I'm going to pay you to publish my book. And I had said no previously to that. And I sang, I have music CDs. So I've always had a big platform to sing on. So I just bring my books along. And so it was easier for me doing that way. My uncle was the pastor. My dad was the head deacon. My mom was over the missionary. My dad was Christian Ed. So that whole church scene, I was good. So, but now it was change churches and change families, start again. And then 2009, I'm like, okay, he's a friend. And, we had a makeshift contract, and, and she paid, I did the work, and I'm like, I'm good until we went to the book signing. And her husband was a major real estate person in the city. And we had 2 book signings, and the place was packed, both of them. And they were like, oh, we want to introduce my publisher. I'm like, I No, I just did this for you. And so
Right.
I'm with you with my sister talking about one yes, that one yes, and so on and so on and so on. So I think more importantly, taking my roots from my family and then becoming a steward. Then that meant I had to learn more. Miss Mary will tell you, you got to learn more. And when you've got to go back to school, then you've got to expand your horizons, and then you got to get a coach, and then you do need a mentor, and then you need to figure that out. And then I couldn't be full time because I still wanted to retire from education. I didn't want to just break off on my own like Charvette did, walk away from corporate America. Just I'm like, no, I'm too chicken for that. I'm too good for that. So I stayed, and so I built it. The last 12 years I was in elementary school. I don't have no kids. Child, I'm like, God, what are you doing? But he chastised me. I'm a librarian teacher. And then the last 9 years, I was a technology teacher. And I was standing in the library with these kids and running around. They had 8 centers. Dr. Wilson knows when you're doing centers and moving kids around and they were running around, they're on task, but I'm standing there going, why am I here? And God says, if you can lead these children right here, you're leading a nation.
Wow.
And I quickly said, I'm sorry. I apologize. I didn't, I'm sorry. Because when you come from big Fortune 500 corporate and then you're with little children, you think this is beneath me. But he checked me that day. He checked me hard that day.
Wow.
So from there, it was about taking responsibility, learning what I was supposed to know and learn, and correcting mistakes quickly, and realizing that there was a lot more for me to learn, but being able to apologize, to be able to fix things, be able to make corrections quickly, to be able to follow up and do what I say, and mean what I say. And then if I realize it's not going to work, I'm going to give you your money back and we're going to part ways amicably. It's all those kinds of things that I learned from my father, that even though he didn't hand a business to me, you would have loved that. And here's the money and no, he handed me the work ethic I needed, the tenacity, the determination I needed. So, and by the way, Miss Angeli, I've been to Muncie, Indiana. I know where Muncie, Indiana is. I worked at Purdue, and I went to a church in Muncie, so we may have to talk afterwards. But so I know what that's like to be in a small community. But you can do anything. Anybody listening to us, even on the replay, you can do anything you set your mind to.
That's
Be
right.
a student of it. Make sure that you're a good steward of what's been placed in your hands, and make sure that you're wanting to serve, and it's about purpose. Yes, the money will come, and no, we shouldn't, where I come from, nobody got a check but the preacher. We all, in church serve for free, but in business it's totally different. So you have to learn as you go, and you have to train yourself slowly but surely. Learn from the best. Don't try to take shortcuts, because some of those hard lessons are the best lessons you will ever learn. So I know we're going to be talking about expansion and all of that, but it is really, really key that you glean and learn and humble yourself, and just be able to put up or shut up. my dad said, put up or shut up, but also to be able to, deliver. You got to be able to deliver.
Right.
I think another thing also is to not compare yourself to others. I think that's
Oh
a
my
big,
God, yes.
big
Oh my God,
factor.
yes.
I every time I looked at the flyer, I got a little intimidated. I was like, I said, I made my picture big in the center, but I'm like the little pea in the pod. But I'm here.
You're
I'm
here.
in the
Yeah.
room. And that's what you have to say to yourself, but I'm in the room. And if you can put yourself in the room, then you're doing what you need to do, and you just have to keep doing it until you get where
Yes.
you want
No,
to
wait a
be.
minute, Ms. G, you have to realize that when you're talking about putting visionaries together, you had to have that vision from the first, from the
That's right.
start.
Yeah.
That's
So I
right.
mean,
That's
that
exactly
is
what
the
I was going to say.
yeah, I mean, that's the critical piece to this, of having the vision to be able to put visionary. Because I know a lot of people who would not put a panel like this together. It would have
Mm-mm.
been all
Right.
about them,
Right.
and not,
Yes.
you know, I'm not sharing my platform with anybody
That's
else.
right.
This is all about me. I don't know. Let them get their own platform.
That's
But
right.
you're a true visionary in that.
Mm-hmm.
You are clearly, you know,
Showtime.
bringing people together, no matter what the level is and no matter what the experience is. That is the to me a sign of a real genius and a real visionary.
All right.
Yeah.
And I remember when
Thank
you
you
was
so
talking
much.
about
Yeah.
we
And
talk about
you,
putting a talk show together, and here you have your show.
That's
that's
right.
right.
Right. I said that like what, 30 years ago?
Uh-huh.
Oh,
You know,
more.
it's
Yeah.
so great to hear the recurring theme.
Mhm.
And it's true for me too. All of us are about serving others.
Mhm.
And to me, I mean, I never planned to be a, entrepreneur. I've helped people write their books. I've helped people have ideas on how to start businesses and ways that they could, and that all just came naturally to me. And while I never thought of myself as, oh, I'm so gifted that I can do that. I just did it as an outpouring of wanting to serve others and wanting to help others succeed. And it was a long, very, very long journey to recognize that it's not bragging to recognize your gifts.
Mhm.
It's not bragging. And that's hard because a lot of us, my generation and before and after, we were taught you don't brag about yourself. You don't tell people how great you are, whether you are or not, and you're probably not. So with that background, that's a lot to overcome, and there's nothing mean in that. That's just how it
Right.
was.
Right.
And so surrounding yourself with other people who see the greatness in you
Mhm.
and who let you know they see the greatness and what greatness they see in you, that's key. Because it wasn't until my heart heard what my head understood that I could say, okay, I have a gift, and it's a gift from God, and it's not for me. That's why I said in my intro, our stories are not for us, but neither are our gifts and our strengths and our abilities. They're not for us. They're to serve God's world. And so that made it easier for me to say, okay,
Mhm.
I can help you with that. And this is how much I charge.
Mm.
And I do that, though, because it allows me to also help those who maybe don't have the resources or who maybe don't need a full service program, but just need a little push or a little help. And so, for all of you, you give of yourselves, you give way more than what you charge, way more than what people pay you for, because you have so much. And I don't mean financially, I mean because you have so many gifts.
That's right.
As all of us on this panel, I see in each of you just amazing stories. And it's so inspiring. And that's part of our responsibility too, is to let other women, particularly women, know that you don't have to have a plan. You don't have to know what you're doing.
That's right.
It's okay. One of my my friends and coaches always says, all you need is a link and a flyer. And really all you need is a link.
Yeah.
And I know Charvette
Right.
seconds that because I've heard her coach too. And the other thing is launch dirty. Just do it and figure it out as you're going. Because first of all, nobody's going to know that you don't know what you're doing, because they wouldn't come to you in the first place if they thought that, right? And you'll figure it out. God's going to take you where he wants you to be. and you just need to listen and obey. And that's always, I'm so hard-headed that's always been the hard part for me, is believing. And we're going to talk about expansion. I'm hearing a lot of us, for me, this expansive is my year for 2022.
Yes.
God did not waste a day. Starting on January 1st, he reminded me, I gave you that word for a reason. But it
So go ahead
took
and tell us about
a
your
whole
expansion.
lifetime, a whole bunch of steps, reading The Purpose-Driven Life, that started a spark in me to realize that everything I had was for a purpose that God chose.
Why don't you go ahead and tell us about your expansion? I know you just recently launched something new. So you go ahead and tell us how you determined that it was time for expansion. That's really what we want to talk about also. And we knew we're running out of time. We probably ran out of time a long time ago, but we're going to get through this real quick, ladies.
Okay. I won't go too long into it because, like I said, it's been a lifetime process. I didn't wake up January 1st and say, oh, okay, God, let's go. Because he has not let me settle for anything. What happened when I walked into that, when I told God, okay, I'm here, I'm ready, I'm going to do what you have told me to do. And more than that, I don't know what you want me to do, but I'm open and I'm listening and I'm ready.
My God.
And so he has brought people into my life, and opportunities into my life that I did not seek out. I'm on this panel, for heaven's sakes. Whoever would have thought? But yes, I've started a new, going to team with one of my good friends and coaches, a 6-month program for women like all of us who pour into others and pour and pour and pour and forget to pour into ourselves. And to take that journey with them to let's figure out how we stop this cycle, and to do the work in an intensive, loving Christian environment to start to reclaim our lives. And I'm super excited about that. And what's really great about it is we were going to launch in January, then we were going to launch in February, but we've both been listening to God and felt overwhelmed creeping in. And at the same time, we decided, okay, we're going to do this, but we need to wait. We need to hear from the women we want to serve what they need to make sure that what we're offering is what they need and not what we want to give them. And there are all kinds of other just amazing, incredible things that I can see on the horizon. And it's such a blessing to be able to recognize the ways that I can help women live into their own expansive vision for their lives.
Okay, so I have a question, Ms. Mary. So I know we're talking about expansion, but you know, speak to, I'm sorry, Ms. Gwen, I'm not trying to take over, but I just have a question, because a lot of times when we get those prompts, and I'm guilty of it, seeing it on social media. So what are you launching? So what are you starting? So what are you beginning? And then for you to say, no, it wasn't the right time. We're going to wait and we're going to listen for the voice of the Lord, but the needs of our clients. Where do you, what level of business maturity, not age, but business maturity do you feel like you need to get to be able to say that?
I think you have to, first of all, have a lot of offerings that don't work out. You have to have a lot of failures and recognize maybe this is why it failed. Because maybe it's what I wanted to do and not what people needed me to do. But I didn't arrive at that whole thing all by myself. The last 2 years, I have been completely immersed in a community of women who are seeking just that kind of thing. We all want that spiritual maturity, that business maturity. We've all been growing together, and we've all been falling flat on our faces together and picking each other up and pushing each other back out into the world. And it just makes a huge difference. So who you surround yourself with is crucial, because you cannot do it by yourself, and you have to have an incredible support system.
Thank you.
I appreciate what everybody has said. You all talking so well, speaking so well. Though I don't want the educators to get me there.
Talk, speak, do it.
Yeah, I know it. Say it.
I want to play the advocate. I'm not going to say that other word that people say, but and I'm looking at one of the coaches specifically, and they know who they are when I say this. But so you said all you need is a link and a flyer. You don't need a plan. What about those people who actually do need a plan? What about those people who actually do need that structure? You know, is it wrong for them to wait until they actually have everything lined up? I want to hear your thoughts.
Yeah, I like to hop in on that if it's okay. You're never going to have it all figured out. That's what you have to realize. You're wasting time when you're sitting there trying to plan it, organize it, map it out, strategize, get it together, get these people in line, get that in line. Oh, you're never going to have it figured out, because that's the joy of being an entrepreneur. You're going to fail. You're going to fail. And then you're going to fail. And then you're going to fail again. But you have to realize the beautiful part about that, as John Maxwell always says, fail forward. And it's not considered failure if you learn from it. That's the thing you have to realize. I'm like one of the most organized people in the world, I think. So I do have to have some type of a plan. I mean, if we go on a trip, I might need to know where we're going. I'm that person. I'm that girl. I'm the person when you come back home, somebody, I saw something, I'm going to hurry up too, Gwen. But I saw this little meme said, if your wife is, or your chick is that woman who unpacks from a trip, when you get back, she's a psycho. I'm the psycho. But I say that to say, yes, I have to have a plan. I know today what I'm going to do tomorrow, because I believe in organization, but you don't have to have it all figured out. You're going to drive yourself batty, and you're going to just mark time for the rest of your life if you just sit there and try to figure it out. So just, take baby steps. Eat the elephant one bite at a time. Don't try to eat it all at one time.
Yeah, and not to monopolize the conversation, but writers always ask me, well, how do I start writing?
Oh,
and
Lord.
They get so frustrated, because I say you pick up a pen and a pad of paper and you start writing, and you write every day until you're done saying everything you have to say. Now, I can help you with all the parts in between, but don't be waiting for a formula, for a process. Yes. There's only one way to write a book or of any kind, of any subject, right, Charvette?
That's right.
Right, Julia? I mean, you just have to start writing.
Yes,
and
ma'am.
Yes, I can sit down and do a strategy plan with you. I have workbooks and guides that will help you through it, but I can't do the writing for you.
Yeah.
If I could tag in on both of these comments, if I had a client, if I were sitting in a seat of a coach, and the person was saying, well, I really need a plan, I really need structure, the first question that I would ask is, I would want them to ask themselves, is this fear? So the first thing that I would want them to ask themselves is this fear that's stopping me. The next thing that I would ask, if the person is feeling like I really need a plan, do you need a 500-page plan, or can you do a one-page plan, as Dr. Omega was saying? So if you need a plan, does it have to be 500 pages, or can we do one-page plan? But a lot of times when people say, I need a plan, I need a structure, it is perfectionism. It is, they want it perfect. They want every T crossed and every I dotted. And in most cases, if you are waiting for something to be perfect before you launch it, you launched too late.
That's
Mhm.
right.
If you look at Facebook,
Yes.
if you look at the iPhone came out, and then what does the iPhone do? It kept having iterations. It kept having new models. So that's how you want to think about your business. If we think about Facebook, if Facebook waited until we got to what we have today, we would not know about a Facebook. That's the problem with MySpace. MySpace didn't keep going. Facebook put out something. Then they added the timeline. Then they added video. Then they added things along the way.
That is beautiful,
So
Charvette.
to tie it together, the real question is this fear? Is this really fear? Is this about your ego? Is this about thinking about how people are going to respond?
Yes.
Those are the questions that I would have the person ask themselves if they are really feeling like I need all of this stuff mapped out. And for most people, it is really fear and procrastination. And here's the real thing for all of our doctors and all of our strategists that are here. We can give you, like Mary said, we can give you all the plans and all the strategy and all of that. But the process is your teacher.
Yes.
And not until you step into the process and do it.
Yes.
Just make the mistakes and figure out, well, the market didn't want that or the customers need something else. It's not until you step up into the process in any area of your life, then does it become clear. It will become clear as you move. So those are
that was beautiful. Charvette, let's take a commercial break. I'm gonna borrow that, but I'm gonna acknowledge you in it.
Just acknowledge, that's fine.
That's beautiful. I'm not gonna steal it. I'm just gonna borrow it and let people know this was Charvette said.
Wait a minute, I got one. I always say, about social media posting, and I said, my famous line, Charvette knows, I say it all the time. In the words of Charvette Mitchell, I always say, no booty call marketing.
Right.
When you
that's true.
That's Charvette Mitchell all day long. So I always give her props and her
I'm going to give you your props. I'm going to borrow that one now.
No problem. Piggyback on that is that, the market and the needs of your clients are always going to be fluid. You've got to decide. I mean, I'm a planner too, because, we in school, we always had to have a lesson plan. What do you plan on teaching for this unit the next 6 or 8 weeks? So I'm used to doing that. And I had boot camps planned and master classes and a course, and it failed, just like Miss Mary said. So I had to stop. Oh no, what are my clients asking me for? So therefore, you have to be able to turn on a dime. You got to be able to put a landing page up in a hurry. And you learn that, as Charvette said, on the journey. And you learn that over time that you're leaving money on the table. You're leaving an audience unfulfilled. And baby, in the digital, online, and virtual space, they will find somebody else.
Oh, yeah.
So if they trust you, because people do business with people they know, like, and trust. So if they like you, they trust you, and they want to do business with you, they want you to say yes now. And I was like, hold on, I'll have that link tomorrow. Or wait a minute, I'll have that by 5 o'clock. Because I don't want to leave money on the table being fearful of who and who won't. And this person has their credit card out ready to swipe it or put the number in. And I'm standing there waiting on the plan and the 5 steps and all of that. I mean, after 14 years, you don't do that. You just switch on a dime. Talk about pivoting. I've been twirling around in this big black chair. You see the leather done come off. You see the leather done get off the back of the chair. But I've been sitting around in this chair since March of 2020. Because I'm like, wait a minute. We shut the world down on Friday, and by Monday I was ready to go because I'm like, no, I cannot miss my opportunity. I cannot miss this. I retired for a reason in June of 2019. I'm not getting ready to go back in the classroom after 6 months. No, I'm not doing it. So what is it going to take? So I had to put fear aside. I don't even know what a pandemic is. I got to figure that out. I don't even know what COVID-19 is. But I had to put all that aside and say, what do my people need? The audience that designed for me, not Miss Mary's clients, not Charvette's clients, not anybody else on here's clients. The one that God has brought to me, what do they need? I don't need to go find out what they're doing. I need to find out what he wants from me. What do they want from me? And give it to them quickly.
This is good to me. I don't know what. Listen, if the listeners and the viewers say this is good to me.
This is
And
good.
it made me think when Charvette and the ladies were talking how you have to be able to shift. And
Yeah.
there's no, I mean, this, I have been doing the magazine for like at that time, 15, 16 years, and had to realize like, wait a minute, through the pandemic and all that, I'm like, this is not my client. My audience have shifted. And so I had to be able to shift with who was my new audience and everything. So it was just like, okay. And when I did that, I mean, I went through the whole rebrand and everything. And when I did that, the last 2 to 3 years have been the best 3 years of doing the magazine, because I shifted. I began to really listen and to watch who is really talking, who are we talking to?
Right.
That was huge for me, because I was just like, had that tunnel, like, nope, we got to do this. This is the demographic. This is the reader. But it was completely, I was like, I've been doing this wrong the whole time.
Angie, we have to understand
Can
too.
I just shout you out real quick? Because do you remember your team did an interview with me? I don't know. It had to be at least 10 years ago.
Long time ago. Yes.
Long time ago.
Yes.
One of her, like a reporter for her magazine called me. I literally will say, and I've been featured in some media. The interview and the article that your reporter for the magazine wrote to date has been the best article ever that I've ever had written about me in a magazine. And I'm not just gassing your head up. I want to tell you that, because it's been, so you were doing right all along, or at least the people
Well, and I wanted to say this too, and Angie, I love this about you. When you talked about expansion, Miss G, for me, expansion right now is in me. God is expanding Tanya, not so much the other stuff, but for us sometimes, and that's about change too. That involves change. It involves pivoting. Change is inevitable. You guys, I have my degree in accounting. I'm one of those people who I'm a control freak. I just control freak. Okay. Which makes it hard sometimes, especially as an entrepreneur. But when you learn to trust God, when you learn to say, okay, God, what do you want me to do? Because I have tried everything. I have done everything. I went to plan A, B, and C without consulting you. Let's be real. Without consulting you. When I was earning the pink Cadillac, or when we were going for $500,000 circle, I had to stop and literally go to bed. Because my mind was just racing. What can I do next? What can I do next? It wasn't until I stopped and, let's just say, rested, that's when God brought the vision to me. That's when God brought the strategy to me. And so for those people who are looking to expand and looking to be entrepreneurs, the thing that worked for me most is listening to God. Was getting out of my own way. Oh, and that's hard. But letting go of the control and saying, God, this is not how I see it. This is not how I want it to be. But if this is the way we're going to do it, okay. And I am a true witness that when you really let go of control and when you are willing to pivot, okay, and do it the way God is telling you to do it, okay, that's when you're successful. Because we have this saying in Mary Kay, copy the right cat, which is so true. If you're going to copy the right cat. But here's the thing. After you copy them, be open to God using you. And your skills. Y'all are probably gonna get me. I'm not the social media queen. I'm not the postmaster, if you will. But I have seen where God has still allowed me to expand in my business, doing what I know to do. Being transparent, giving my story. And just like the sister said, if I can do it, honey, believe you can do it too. I dabble in the media, Charvette. I do a little something.
You good.
But I blossom where I am, where God has planted me, and you just gotta trust God, y'all. We gotta get out of the way, truly.
That's true.
And just allow God to just expand, because God has so much more for all of us. And we are the only ones in our way, the only one.
And I love what you said about when God gave me that word expansive. Yeah, he was talking about my business, but more than that, he was talking about me and my faith and my understanding of what it really means to trust him and to walk the way he wants me to walk. And I always say he's so tricky that way, because he always tricks me into thinking, oh, okay, let's go. And then he's like, okay, but while you're doing that, come here, because I've got more stuff that you need to do on yourself here.
Reset. Anybody else in a reset? I was like, what do you mean,
Oh,
God?
yes, ma'am.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And you should be resetting yourself every so often anyway. You know, there's people say that all the time, and they teach you that in with a lot of leadership stuff. You should be rediscovering and renewing and all of that. So that's so great. You guys have really you have all just really brought it through tonight. You brought it through tonight. So I have one other question to add to that. Have you ever thought about just shutting down what was working at the moment, but you just got to a place where you thought it might be time to shut this down and do something different?
So I'll talk.
Go ahead.
I'll jump in real quick. So I started off talking about how my business started with web design services. And so December 2020, I discontinued web design services. Web design is money maker, you know, all day long. It's a problem that people have that they pay for the solution. But when we talk about being visionaries, it came to a place of me realizing and listening to the market, Julia and Mary, what my clients needed was me to be more strategic. Web design is tactical, and I was better suited at the strategy level and the consulting level. And so there was a tug of war that began, because I had to shift my mind and do tactical stuff, but then on this side, be strategic. And so it became work that started to, I started not to like it anymore. It started giving me anxiousness. And oftentimes, agitation is a signal that there's a transition. And so that was a one time for me to say, okay, I'm discontinuing this, and I am so glad I did it. Like, I have no qualms about it. So that for me, if there are people who you know, are kind of struggling with that. I didn't, of course, throw away a whole business, but it was this part of my business, this service, no longer suits where I am going, and more importantly, where I'm better suited to help clients. So that's my story.
That's good. That's good.
I was going to hop in and say, yeah, I've considered it several times, but when you hear God's plan, you know you can't move. No. So I mean, it sounds funny, but Brian Wilson knows I'm dead serious, honest, very, very serious. I really want to go into mortuary science. Mortuary science. I'm going to have our own funeral home. We're going to have funeral home number 3. Brian is on 2. I'm going to catch up with him. We're going to have 3, but I really do. But I know that that's not, if it's in God's plan ever, it's not his plan right now. Yeah, this consulting is a form of ministry. That's a form of ministry as well. But this is a ministry that he has me in right now. Yeah. And that's a really, really good question, because sometimes you get weary. There have been times in business, especially when you start out as an entrepreneur, you get weary when you don't see the results that you want. But when you know beyond a shadow of a doubt that this is your mission, if you're passionate about it, and this is what God has told you to do, not something that you just created on your own and you're crossing your fingers every day. But if you know, you have to stick to it, and you have to go ahead and walk it out, regardless of how uncomfortable it's going to be. Because I don't know anybody who says being an entrepreneur is very, very comfortable. You get used to it, but then you also get thrown to the left or to the right sometimes, you know, after being in it for however many years. But yeah, you may think about changing, and it doesn't mean, just like Charvette said, that mean that you won't change. But that doesn't mean that if you're tired or if you're weary that you change. Don't do that. Don't do that, because you're going to miss your blessing and your breakthroughs. Yeah. Plural.
Well, you also have to make sure that it is God, or it is, you know, what it is designed for you. Is it a test? Is it pressure
That's
to
right.
bring purpose, or is it really time to end? So I've always had a 10-week writing course. I've always had it. And ever since probably, I don't know, I guess it's been my 14, probably at least the last 10 years that I've always had a 10-week course. But I realize now in 2022 that people cannot, they don't stay the course for 10 weeks. They just can't do it. Life happens, so I realized that I had to still offer writing courses, but they want one-on-one more, and they want shorter master classes, 2 or 3 hours, and then they go on, or they want shorter 4 to 6 weeks, 4-week boot camps, and they're good. So I had to not dig my heels in and market and promote something that people are not wanting because the attention span, they can commit to maybe a month, but that's 2.5 months. And so, but my client is not accustomed to that. So they can't do it. So therefore, I had to say, well, wait a minute. I'm not going to block off 10 weeks of my life for people who don't want that. They want a month. Well, good. I'll give you a month, and then I can go on and do something else. I can continue to speak, write, and coach others to do other things rather than trying to force something down that's not working. Now, there's times when I had to stay the course. When you keep promoting something and people don't buy it, it's the wrong season for it. So you have to know, and I think that's back to the business maturity that we realize it is something you said you wanted, but what happened? I launched at the wrong time. I launched at the wrong price. I launched at, and most of the time when I launch at the wrong price, it was too low. Charvette taught me that too. Sometimes my price was too low and I had to go up higher.
Yeah.
And then it just seems like they have no problem. I'm like, well, what's the deal? You didn't want it. I mean, but anyway, that's a whole nother conversation. But the point is knowing the difference when it's time for me to stay the course, and then knowing the season of this is over because I'm agitated, and clearly they're agitated because they're not buying it. So therefore, let's just stop all the agitation. Let me get the people what they want. How about that? Yay!
For me, short answer, I promise. For me, short answer is God has already shown me where I am in Mary Kay, and where I'm going in Mary Kay. And I absolutely, can I tell y'all, I love me some Mary Kay. I love everything about it, the family, the product, the staff, everything. But I am sold out for God. I am sold out to God. And so if God shifts and says something different, then that's what we'll do. Because Mary Kay was nowhere in my forecast, and he brought that to my forecast. And so I feel like we need to be prepared for whatever it is God has for us. This may be my platform. Don't get scared, unit members, if you're on here. I'm still here. This may be the platform and the means for me to get to wherever God is taking me next. So I feel like, yes, we have our plans and God gives us the vision, but his ways are not our ways. His thoughts are not our thoughts. We don't know. He does exceeding abundantly above all we could ask or think. So we have no clue as to where God is going to take us. So I think our yes has to be to him. And that means, I don't know.
Yeah.
That's
I don't know.
Yeah. So. And being okay with, I don't know.
That's right.
Which is hard.
Yeah, very hard. I was like, I have an undergraduate in accounting too. So we must both have the control issues as an accounting. Yeah. Who knew? I learned something new tonight. Thank you.
You ladies are just so awesome. Thank you so much. All of those who are popping in with all these great comments. I mean, you all have been keeping it really lit over here. My beautiful niece there, my chief apostle is popped in, and so many, and I saw the hubby pop in. And so Tanya's husband. So we're just so happy to have all of you joining us. I saw Alaska in the room, and
yes,
I don't know where you're from, but we've got all kinds of people in the room. So thank you so much. And this amazing platform that's here. I think 2 of you are from Indiana, and the rest of us are from Virginia. Isn't that amazing? So, well, are you Indiana or Kentucky,
Oh
Dr.
no,
D?
I'm in Indiana. I'm in
Right,
Jeffersonville.
2 Indiana
Straight
and
down 65. I'm in Jeffersonville.
yes, yes. So, we are
Speaking of
just
little places, come on, come
right.
on. Speaking of little towns, I'm in a little place.
I love my Muncie, Indiana, though. I love it.
Yeah, me
So
too.
we are just so excited that you have joined us on tonight. What I'm going to do is I'm going to give each of you. Does anyone have? Let me say just a last thing before I give you this 1 minute to do your final um, comment to the audience. Does anyone have one last comment about the discussion that we just had? You good? You good? Your hearts and minds are clear. All right. So we're gonna do this. We're gonna give the audience your best 1 minute free advice. 1 minute free advice. Your best advice you can give them in 1 minute. While you're doing that, I'm gonna pop up your contact information, and you can add that on the end of your statement, so they'll know, or if it's something that you want to offer to them real quick. Okay. All right. And again, ladies, I just so thank you so much. All right. I'll start with Angelia.
I knew you was going to start with me. I was really thinking, oh my gosh, what am I going to say here? Oh, wow. 1 minute free advice. We're talking about expansion and all that amazing stuff. I would say from the aspect, I guess I'm just kind of in this mode today, is about branding and just being able to have a beautiful headshot. A lot of people don't understand how it's so important if you are an entrepreneur to have a nice headshot. And one of the things you can do, there are so many fabulous college interns looking to build their portfolio and their reels and all that good stuff. So connect with an up and coming makeup artist, someone that's a student in fashion and design, and a photography student at your local university or your local college, or someone even in your church, to create a beautiful headshot for yourself.
That's good. That is so good. I'm trying to work on one of my clients right now. I hope she's listening. Go ahead, Charlotte.
Listen, that's good right there for me to follow right along behind that. That's one of my pet peeves. But what my piece of advice would be to embrace and get comfortable with video. Anyone that's watching, if you were interested in vision, you're a visionary, you're a leader, and I believe that you are because you tuned into this. You leaders speak, and one of the quickest ways and the easiest ways to speak and to share your brand story is through video. So whether that's a live stream like this, whether that is an Instagram reel or stories, I would say ministry, nonprofit, or for profit, get comfortable with video. It is not going anywhere. All of the platforms want video content, but more importantly, it is one of the quickest ways for you to build rapport with your audience. And if you are a leader, leaders speak. All right, that's my tip.
Ooh,
That's good.
that's good. That's good.
She spoke
Tanya.
directly to me. I thought I was going to get by with a voiceover this week. No,
ma'am.
No.
Angie, I'm not feeling it either, Angie. I'm not feeling it either.
Wow.
We'll talk.
Okay.
For me, I would say one of the biggest things, because before you can even get to the headshot, before you can even get to these other things, is emotional management. That's a big thing we deal with in Mary Kay. It will hold you back so much from being the best, from stepping out of your comfort zone. So I think emotional management is very, very important. Do whatever it is that you need to do to stay in a good headspace, to stay connected with God. Another thing I would say is don't give up. Don't quit on your dreams. Sometimes it feels like it's not going to happen. Sometimes it feels like you're going in circles. You're going in circles for years and years, but don't give up. And every day, just get back up again. If you mess up yesterday, it's okay. Today is a brand new day to get it right. one of the differences I share with my unit members, my consultants, is the difference between me and you is I've had more no's. I've taken
Yes.
more no's. I've had more rejection than you have. So if you're willing to take on the no's, take on the rejection, girl, you'll get here. But you got to keep going. Don't give up. And finally, it should have been the first point is trust God. Trust. And even where I'm still developing that trust in God. But I'm glad that it's developing. And the more I relinquish control, my sister, the more I relinquish control, the more God blows my mind.
Awesome, awesome. Dr. Julia?
Well, I think one of my main pet peeves, I agree with everything everyone has said. Headshot, all of that. I agree with all of that. But I get my frustration because people don't respond. They miss
Mm,
opportunities because they don't follow up. They don't, oh, I don't use Messenger. Oh, I didn't check my email. Oh, I didn't check my text message. Oh, I didn't. And you miss so many opportunities because you either do not have a follow-up system, you do not regularly, and I know, I guess I borderline on being obsessive, but I see so many opportunities that people miss because they didn't respond.
Mm.
They were either too late or they don't have a system in place to
mhm,
follow up, to check. So if you have a certain time, make sure that's consistent in your system of communication is consistent and your follow-up system. Having those systems to connect and to reach out and to follow through and then to show up and show out when you do is really so key to everything going on because you miss so many opportunities. And the last thing is, I have heard many people say it, and I would have to do my homework and research to know exactly who said it first. But millionaires or real entrepreneurs make swift decisions, not
mm,
necessarily, oh, I said yes too fast, but they can think through the
mhm,
solutions, the problems, the issues,
mhm,
the barriers. And even the Bible said, let your yay be yay and let your nay be nay.
mhm,
So you have to be able to make swift, conscious decisions given the information that you have, because some opportunities you only get one round and you may take a long time because that before that comes around back around again. So follow up your systems of responding, communicating is really so key because you don't want to miss opportunities that you're ready for
Mhm.
All
because you
right
didn't check
now.
your email, you
That's
didn't check your
good.
messenger, you didn't check your text message.
That is so good. Yeah, I have a hard time with people who don't respond, but that's okay. Dr. Omega.
I would just say, stop overthinking everything. Live your best life with this whole business thing, with life in general. Live free. You have one life to live. Stop overthinking it. It's not that deep. You're making it a little harder than what it really is, whatever it is. A lot of people say, I don't know how it goes. I think 90% of the things that we worry about don't even happen anyway. Just get out there and run free. Do this thing like it's your last opportunity to do something great ever in your life. Just stop overthinking it, live free, connect with a mentor, somebody who has a proven track record of success, who really truly cares about your well-being. Somebody who's not, I'm
Mm,
not talking about somebody who's going to walk in front of you so you can walk behind them. Somebody who's going to walk beside you, in front, behind, side to side. Somebody who's going to stand with you, someone who's going to truly believe in you and help you to get to where you really want, need, desire, and deserve to be in life. That's
mm.
all I got.
All right.
That's
That was
good.
good. That was
That's
good.
good.
Thank you.
All right. Miss Mary.
Well, everybody has had just, I'm nodding, 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 nodding. This
Right.
is just, all of it is just great advice. One thing that's really been pressing on me a lot lately, in particular, I always tell writers, if you have a desire to tell a story, you need to tell your story because,
Right.
as I said, your story's not for you. It's for the world, and God wants to heal his world through your story. But the same applies if you have a vision, if you have an idea, if you have a skill or a gift or a talent that can serve God's world, you need to just do it.
Yeah.
You need to just do it because it's not for you, it's for the world. And another thing that has really been pressing on me is that so often we don't take ourselves seriously enough. And I don't mean we take ourselves too seriously. I mean, we don't take the importance of what our assignment is seriously enough. Because if we did, we would answer the emails and check our inbox, but we would also not worry about, well, how is this going to make me look? I had a friend who participated in a launch that I did of the virtual writers retreat a couple weeks ago, and she's messaged me twice and said, because of you asking me to speak on your platform, I have a customer from Africa. And she said it was directly related to that. So maybe the only reason that I did that live launch that day of this virtual retreat and asked her to do it, that wasn't just about me. That was about God setting her up for an opportunity that she might not have had otherwise. And so that's why we need to be really sure that we're being properly attentive and serious and intentional about what we're doing.
I love that.
I love it.
I love that.
So, Mary is the storyteller, so she's able to put these things into words so well. Not that you all haven't, because everyone has been so great and, as they say, eloquent in your speech and able to bring forth some information. These ladies over here are excited, so hopefully one day they'll be in this round table. And we can share some other information. What I wanted to think about when I was trying to decide who to invite, was I didn't want everybody to have the same type of business or the same type of ministry or whatever, because a lot of times we think that just because someone is doing this or someone is doing that, they're more successful. But you can be successful in whatever it is that you're doing. And you can also learn success tips and success strategies from people outside of what you're doing.
Most definitely.
Yeah, and so I looked around and I was like, some of these ladies are just so amazing, just thinking about the things that you all are doing. And I'm a big fan of everybody on this panel. So I watch, I watch and I watch, and I may not always say something to the people, but I watch and I look at what you're doing, and it just really warms my heart to see you prospering and growing of what God has given you. And so I pray that God will continue to bless each of you for blessing us on tonight.
Thank you.
And being a part of MsG's Ladies Lounge, my first Visionaries Roundtable. This will be prayerfully a monthly thing for the next few months at least, or maybe the whole year. We don't know. We'll see what the Lord says. But the first Monday on every month, we're going to do this, and I will be bringing some other visionaries. And if any of you want to come back on the Visionary Roundtable, just let me know, and I'll gladly invite you back as well. Thank you again.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, we still got some people popping in these great comments. And here's our young lady, Dr. Bamberg Merritt from Alaska.
Yes, she is from Alaska.
Thank you so much. All right, and Dr. Angeline Coward from Richmond, Virginia.
Yeah.
Amen. Thank you again, and you all have yourself a wonderful night. You have done just an amazing job. Go get some rest now so you can be fresh in the morning.
Thank you.
All right.
You too.
Thank you. Bye-bye,
ladies. It's been a pleasure. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for joining us on today. You have been just wonderful to come and support us on today. Just continue to pop in your comments or share this video with others and let them see some great women that are just, opening their hearts to them to allow them to hear some great information, some great advice, and things that they can go on through uh, becoming more successful with. And so, again, thank you. Have a great night. I'll see you back here on the next MsG's Ladies Lounge. I love you all. Have a good night.